What's up guys? Week 6 of our historical renovation and we're in the thick of it guys. This is gonna be an amazing episode. We have this massive brick wall that was built in the year 1800 coming down. If you watched the last videos, you know this is a change order. Originally we're gonna build steel structures here. We're gonna go through everything that our engineering team required us to do. Take this back wall right here down safely. That involves putting up Starbolts, it involves some planning, it involves going back and forth, measurements, site visits. Follow along guys, this is gonna be an awesome episode.
Welcome back everybody. We're here, day 53. And we're doing this a little bit backwards right now. I'm shooting the intro at the end of the day. We had an awesome day. We got all of the supplies for our Starbolts that we're gonna be installing over at Street. Block that out. So in order to get that going, besides the Starbolts, we also need a ton of stuff like we're sistering a bunch of joists because the sizing is all strange inside of there. We need some space for some insulation up in the ceilings and some of those spaces as well. So we got some bigger, beefier ceiling joists that we're going to be installing. So we're going to be installing our Starbolts onto that. We're going to be adding a ledger in there. We're going to be doing some hurricane ties. Brandon's not wearing a seatbelt.
Howdy. Slow down, I won't have to.
So we'll add that to the blooper reel. We're headed back now to meet up with Sasha. So we just had to block the street for a little bit and move all of our lumber into the house. There's just two of us, or we would have been filming as well. But just two guys moving all that lumber. Need all hands on deck. Also, it was very dark and we don't want to give away our location by showing the outside. So maybe we'll never tell you where the space is, you know? Stay tuned for the rest of the week. We're doing a lot of cool, fun stuff. It's freezing out here. It's very cold, but you know what keeps us warm? We're moving, we're keeping our spirits high. Who knows what day it is anymore? We're out of here.
I am in the office right now. The boys are going to our Bryn Mawr project to load up materials and stage everything and get ready. I'm going back with a couple more details with the engineer, and I'm also trying to get ahead of our next project we have, which, well, project after next. We have our demolition of the load bearing walls and finish up the rest of our demo, getting the mechanicals out of there. We have our framing, and before we put the subfloor down on the first floor, we are going to put a crawl space encapsulation and radon mitigation system in. So, all right, we should have a screen record going. So I am going to get a rough square footage. So we have, we'll call it 30 feet. We'll call this 310, 4 feet, 13 feet from outside to outside. I just measured it's 12. So we'll say 360 square feet of crawl space getting encapsulated. Shop Stego. These are the products we really like. I'm gonna get these shipped to my mom's house because I don't have an address in the city that things don't get stolen from. 15 mil, 5 by 150. It's 450 square feet. I'm gonna do 14 by 100. Wow. $476, not too bad. Add to cart. I want to make sure that these encapsulation guys are set up with success. They use 6 mil plastic. Labor's roughly the same. I asked their permission to see if we can get some extra products. They said yes, so let's see. How can we make this as easy for them as possible so they can spend time focused on the details and not cursing at us. Termination bars for when they go up the sides. 1 pack should be plenty. Stego crawl space seam tape. 1 roll I'm sure will be plenty. Let's get 2 just because I don't want them using duct tape. Proceed to checkout. So we're paying this on top of what the crawl space encapsulation company charges us. That is not that bad in my opinion. It's extra $715 to make sure that this is gonna last a lifetime, and when our HVAC crews are on there, installing our ductwork, when our electricians are on there, it's not gonna rip. So doing this now, a couple weeks in advance, so we're not, stalling or running or using a subpar product when we need to go shopping. Peace. And it is cold as we are about to get in there. The framer is there walking through with Adrian. We're gonna make sure all the details are there. Today we install the Starbolts. Yeah, it's gonna be a big day today and tomorrow, and make a framing list and get ready to rip down this original back wall. Let's get after it. It's so cold. It's so cold. We're knocking because our hands are too cold for the lockbox. Look at Terry looking like he's off the slopes. Got a lift pass on there.
Multiple lift passes.
You don't got the lockbox key?
What's that?
It's final.
Hands are too cold.
My back. Broken.
Waverton? Bom dia!
So we just wrapped up with the framer here, and although we weren't taking exact measurements of things, it's very important for them to come in, take a look at the space, see kind of what they're dealing with, also familiarize themselves with the area around here, find out where their access points are going to be, their parking, how they're going to be able to pull things out of here. There's a lot of just like logistics and stuff that go into a job like this. So they seem very confident on what we're looking at here. Should be pretty straightforward, and we're excited to get them started up. Before that, we got to get the Starbolts installed, so we're gonna get to it. We are waiting for a few more materials and supplies, so really all we can get started with right now is getting these joists down here sistered in. We're not adding a ledger into these, so we can sister these while we're waiting for the rest of our supplies. Then once we get our sill seal, we'll be able to set our top ledgers. We can actually maybe get started by removing this cast iron pipe, get that out of the way, clear up our space, and then maybe get some subfloor down here so we can get our ladders up here, start clearing away our area where we're going to be getting our ledger boards in. I believe we're going second stud bay in here and then the third stud bay.
Yes.
This one's closer to 7 inches, which looks nice. This one
2 by 8, 7 1/4.
looks like we're maybe 101. So with our existing conditions back here, we have a low point down in this corner over here, which actually helps us out. We're gonna lift that up a little bit. We're gonna sister all 4 of these joists here, and we're gonna get everything nice and level. That'll help us with our Starbolts. It'll help us with our flooring later on when we're doing the actual bathroom in here. But this is looking good so far. Can I say it?
Yeah.
Let's get busting. There we go, 12 inches.
Is it dying? Yeah. Get you in Milwaukee.
I know. All right, guys. So plans always change. The engineer spec'd out for us, against my wishes, to run Starbolts through that rafter bay. Problem is, there's not enough space to run something comfortably. Other problem is, there is a decorative cornice detail made of brick, Corbeline maybe it's called, on the outside. So we can't get a Starbolt. The lowest we get is like right above that window, which means we're gonna have to have like a 7-foot ceiling. That's not really an option. There's a detail that another engineer shared with us to temporarily support these, the brick as we take the original back wall off. It's going to look like us running a ledger epoxied into the masonry right there, tied up to the roof rafters with hurricane ties. So once we are all framed up and sistered out and everything, we'll build a stud wall along here, run some Starbolts in areas that are aesthetically pleasing and functional to the building. Our main goal is today to get ready for demolition of this back wall.
Let's get busting.
Audrey, who do you want doing what?
Alright, so now we are good to start setting our ledger up here. You and Brandon have been working good together all morning, so I'll take Terry, maybe we'll go downstairs and start looking at that stuff.
We'll start working on this ledger. Yep. I'm gonna get it cut to fit right in between those joists.
Yep.
My plan is to pre-drill it, mount it in place with hurricane ties, then drill it and brush it.
Oh, so we're gonna get it mounted with the hurricane ties.
Yeah, then maybe pull it out to vacuum the vacuum the brick out.
Yep.
Right now we are getting a 2x12 pressure treated ledger temporarily in place. So we're gonna install adhesive anchors or epoxy anchors into the masonry, tie it to the roof system with hurricane clips. And then when we frame, this will stay in place. We'll be able to tie the framing into it. We will be able to tie the roof framing into it, the wall framing. Our engineer also wants us to install Starbolts after this, but this is just to give us temporary assurances when we take the brick wall down. Go team.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that walk up. He's got the arms down and everything.
Damn. Like he's been on a runway before. Give me the spin, give me the spin.
Oh. Thanks, guys.
Somewhere around 8 1/4.
So Brandon and I are working on getting this ledger epoxied in place. He's cleaning out the holes right now. Audrey and Ter are working on layout of the Starbolts outside. So they drilled pilot holes through the floor in the bathroom, and they're verifying that they're equidistant on the outside. They're using the level, they're using, almost more important is using the mortar lines to get going, just because your eye's not gonna be able to detect level in this alley, it'll detect discrepancy between the mortar lines. We're getting the 4 on the lower course, the 2 ledger boards up top, and we should be in a good place tomorrow to finish framing. Have this thing, have the wall start to come down by Friday. In the meantime, I'm working on demoing this course up here so we can set a ledger board up there. All the plaster, the lath, the furring strips, everything nailed in. That really helps hold everything together. So we're trying to disturb as little as possible. So we're gonna take that top plate off. It's not doing much. It's sectioned in pieces there. It's not touching over there. That will let us get closer up to the rafters. This is a newer part of the house, and new is, again, in air quotes. This was probably done in between 1920 and 1940. A couple different clues for that. There's knob and tube wired in here. It doesn't look like it was a remodel. We've worked in a lot of buildings before where they have pieces of lath that the masons embed into the masonry, and that's what they nail their furring strips on for their lath and plaster. No drywall in here, so that's another indication that it's probably before the 60s or 70s. So older. One of the other giveaways is this piece of wood that's embedded in the masonry. We've only seen that in houses done, between 1920 and 1940. So that's an indication right there. Age, the color of the brick, everything else. So we're actually gonna use this to our advantage. We're gonna put our pressure treated 2x12 ledger board up there, strap in with hurricane straps. That will marry this brick wall to here. And then under this course, we'll do our Hilti epoxy anchors. So this will tie this part of the brick wall really nicely into the roof system, which ties into the other wall, which ties into the stories above it. But there's a lot of weight holding this stuff down, so that's really going to help us with stability of the wall. While Brandon's finishing up, I'm going to work on tightening up so we can do all the epoxy in one go. We're getting ready to start putting our epoxy anchors in. This isn't called out by our structural engineer. This is belt and suspenders. We're going to use this for today. I have a fresh tube in here with a fresh tip with a tip extender. I have another tube ready to go. I have all my anchors back pocket. They're all oriented the same way. So this cut end is gonna go in. So I'm gonna go sequentially, fill this up. We vacuumed and brushed out the holes, which if you're getting a special inspection, that's what they'd like to see and they wanna see. You can also use compressed air. I don't like to do that, especially with older brick, because it tends to break all this stuff apart. You'll never get like a clean hole and you'll just keep eating the brick away. So I can feel that breaking in there. We got a good grip. I'm gonna kill the first couple, first half ounce of this. Man, it's much easier in the summer to do this. Move on to the next one. Pro move would have been to leave this in our car on the dashboard with the window heat running. But you live and you learn. I can feel that's getting good embedment. I'm twisting it in place. Man, this is really hard to do in the cold weather.
Right now, we're split up into 2 teams. We got Sasha and Brandon upstairs. I've got Terry down here helping me out. We're installing Starbolts. Now, you've probably seen us already drilling our holes in from the outside. That way, if there's any blowout coming through, it's gonna be on the inside. As you can see, we have our 3/4 inch all thread coming through. This is gonna be a phased process now where we're gonna be putting up a block, finding where we're gonna be making contact, pulling that block down. We're gonna drill a hole into that. Then we're gonna repeat the process 3 more times until we're about 4 feet in with our all thread. Those are gonna have blocking in between them. So that's gonna be giving a lot of structure, support, rigidity into the joists that are in this part of the building.
And something worth noting too is this isn't the typical orientation for Starbolt. The all thread usually runs perpendicular to the joists. In this case, that's why we're adding blocking, but if you look up at all those floorboards, they run perpendicular and they're all nailed in. There's thousands and thousands of nails unifying this structure. That's kind of the magic, the house acting as a system rather than individual components. And that's kind of one of the reasons old stuff lasts longer than new stuff. Everything was built with redundancies, older, stronger, old growth material. And we're just trying to do the least amount of intrusion. We'll give you an open concept. Like and subscribe.
My favorite part about being here at Street Unnamed is right before we started working, it was Halloween. And now we've got the best kind of candy, ice cold chocolate. If you're a gummy guy like myself, shout out to Sour Punch Twist. I'm looking for that sponsorship, please. All right, guys, this is a wrap for day 756.
I think 44, 45?
Yeah, close.
45?
Audrey, what's our plan for tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we're gonna do more of what we did today. We got some good blocking up in the back.
Oh, yeah.
We got our rods through in the back over there, so we're gonna be doing the same thing in the bathroom floor, hitting it from the top tomorrow.
We're definitely trying to get our rods in on the bathroom floor.
Hitting it from the top.
Hitting it from the top.
Okay. This is probably gonna be on our Patreon page now.
At least it's not on our OnlyFans.
Yes. So tomorrow we're gonna continue on with what we did today. We're gonna actually be fastening in the washers and the bolts. That's gonna be super annoying. That'll be fun. We'll do a nice fun montage through that.
Thanks, engineers.
The engineer called out this ridiculous detail. We normally love working with them, but this is gonna be really annoying. So each block we have to get the rod in and then thread the bolt. You know, like 42 inches.
Until it gets to the next one, and then we get the next bolt, and then we thread both at the same time until we get to the third one, and we do all three at the same time.
It's not what I would have done.
But if you guys are watching this, thank you for everything. We love you guys.
Real-time montage of bolt spinning.
Yeah, we'll get the clock in the background so they can see everything at the same time. So yeah, we'll do it so you don't have to.
My hands look like this.
So yours can click that like and subscribe button. Cool, yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow. It's late, let's get out of here. Bye.
Go Birds.
Good morning. Headed in, got some supplies for the boys, and we're gonna go over some details for building the stud walls and getting ready for demolition tomorrow.
Good morning, sir. Come on in.
Welcome back.
Oh, it's not that cold in here.
Day 53. That's day 67.
What year is it? All right, where we at? A long day yesterday.
We got a lot more done yesterday than I had originally anticipated. We are pretty much set up to finish this today. All of our blocking's in place already. We're gonna go ahead and lag bolt everything in right now, and then we're gonna get some spray paint on our Starbolts.
That's one detail that often gets forgotten when people run Starbolts. Back painting them, so eventually they're gonna get those rust stains that run down the wall. Really easy to avoid that. You know, when we install them, we'll caulk the top, leave the bottoms open for anything to drain out. Let's see what we got for these boys. Brandon was cold.
Freezing.
Extra screws, rated for pressure treated wood, and they have higher shear strength for hangers. I'm gonna go over with these guys the details that we're gonna use for building the stud wall, miscellaneous bracketry, and 2 heavy-duty 3/4 inch washers. So let's see where we're at. All right, we just went over a game plan. I'll check back in at the end of the day, update you guys on process. We are headed to our mixed-use commercial job, dude. The coolest thing we have done to date. Take down 2 giant load-bearing walls to unify a commercial space that we're turning into a clay studio. We have a full series on that. We dropped it side by side to this on our YouTube channel. Too much clutter. So we're gonna switch that over to our Patreon page. If you wanna get early access, consider becoming a member there. We'll drop some details down low in the description. Eventually these will make their way to YouTube. A little more polished, kind of look like a music video, some of them. John Gillespie, our camera guy, videographer, editor, is having a lot of fun with them too. So there's a lot of value to be had there. Check it out, and back to this project. Really cold right now. Feel bad leaving these guys. Psych! All right, end of the day. Boys crushed the framing details. Tomorrow morning, we're ready to throw up some Starbolts, and the demo crew comes to take down that wall right there. So our framing is up, we're tied into the roof system, we're tied into the floor. We have a band of subfloor going down so that our plumbers, our electricians, our HVAC people can still run lines and whatever kind of mechanicals they need underneath the subfloor, and we can easily put it down. Here's our blocking for the Starbolts. There was really nothing called out in our engineering document, so we're using heavy duty angles with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 screws face screwed that way. We also have some angles that return behind for a little bit of extra metal strength. I'm not worried about it at all. This is above and beyond what the engineers called out. I think they were thinking we would just nail through, you know, right there. So I know we're not gonna get in trouble for this. We can, you know, justify why we did this, and it's really belt and suspenders and the insurance policy that you get from Boyd's for those suspenders, which doesn't work because I had a button break and they wouldn't take it back. True story.
No shit.
True story. That's all. See you tomorrow. Sorry guys, got real petty. I don't know why, but it's been a long couple of days.
Morning, day 40, Friday, and something crazy just happened. Got a spot right out front. See where we're at right now. We're gonna try to save the ceiling, but homeboy right here was going for that open concept. Morning, boys. Let's see what these look like from the outside. So we got one starbolt up there, one starbolt up there. Eventually we'll get two more up there. So one thing that we're doing, we plan to have this whole alleyway repointed. Our mason's on board. It's not really an urgent situation for us to get done. It'll be nice though to have scaffolding up so that we can safely do the vents and detail, and maybe we'll have our siding guy come and capitalize on that and use the scaffolding at the same time. Good idea. I'll make sure to go back to this video. But when we set starbolts on a house we're working on, we leave about 8 inches of threaded rod sticking out of the brick. We don't use any Loctite until the very end when we go back in silicone everything, just so that we can pull the starbolts out one at a time to make any adjustments and tweaks as needed. But, you know, not generally too concerned about the structure, but there's some, let's see if we can zoom in, some areas that need to be rebuilt, and a lot of that is just water infiltration over the years.
Starbolts are all in and secure. We didn't over tighten them, just snugly fit. That'll give us a little bit of that extra insurance along with the header boards that we're not going to have too much movement. Obviously we'll be keeping an eye on it as the wall comes down, but I feel good about it. You'll see we left a little bit of extra all thread coming through. We still have some pointing to be done on the exterior here. Wow, exterior.
And we got our main man, Brandon, AKA White.
Whoa. Hey, save the D for your girl. Save the D for your.
Oh my God, I just committed a first HR violation.
Oh my goodness.
Big D, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So theoretically, about 50% of the brick that we took out is old face brick. So me, Terry, Audrey, and Brandon are going to go through and sort some of this brick, get it in the backyard so when we rebuild our openings, and you can't buy 1800 Philadelphia brick anymore. And if you do, it's like $5 a brick. So we're sitting on the gold mine right now.
We said we're out of brick. Wait, can we point out the fact that Steve is growing his beard?
I told them that if I look like you and I act like you, I will soon be successful like you.
No, it's because he's in love with Adrian.
Terry's clearly still sensitive from the last video.
Spoiler alert, everyone's in love with Adrian. I'm gonna put like a slow-mo montage of him running to get his sandwich.
Most likely this will never see the light of day.
Audrey, everyone's favorite. I'm gonna try and get this right at the source too. That's what you get when you work with a great company like Demo Solutions. Steve is gonna try to set these aside going forward. So bricks coming from here, we're gonna save. We know these are the face bricks.
bricks coming from this side. Basura. All right, we got two types of brick. We call these salmons. That's kind of what they're colloquially referred to as. There's older paste bricks like this. We're watching out for signs of carbon staining that lets us know it was an exterior brick. We're looking for general shape, integrity. So, here, that sounds. Breaks right apart. Hard brick. Woo! Oh yeah.
So as you can see, we got a lot of bricks, and if you've been following along, you'll know that we took down 2 brick walls in the house we've been working on. So we had to sort through every brick that came down, anything that was left, you know, in relatively decent shape, and give it a little knock, find out whether or not it was salmon brick or front-facing brick. All this stuff is gonna be able to be reused. You don't find brick like this built anymore, not this quality and not to this integrity.
All right, guys, that's the end of week 6. Now, we sent a couple videos to the homeowners, and they were shocked with how fast everything went. And that's kind of how this goes. We spent a full week prepping for this. We took about 3 days to install our Starbolts and our bracing and to tie the structure all together and make sure it was safe to demo that back wall. And it was huge. We took this wall down that was built in 1800, so 225 years old. That's not a small feat. Really important to us in our business model is diverting as much of the construction material and debris out of landfills and for future reuse as possible. So we have 600 or 700 bricks that we can use in this project. We'll give the rest to our mason to use in the rest of the city. Awesome, awesome week. Next week, week 7, we have some work being done in the basement. We're gonna build a retaining wall. We're gonna prep for the radon encapsulation, and we're gonna take delivery of lumber to have our framers come in and get this ready for all of our mechanicals. So thanks so much for following along, guys. See you next week. And yeah, this is one of the weeks that we're really happy that we do what we do. Really love this stuff and can't wait to share more of these projects with y'all. Have a great week, guys.